Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone is doing good. So this is the second video in the playlist of how to automate my water tank. If you didn't watch the previous video, please go and watch the previous video so you will understand the scenario which we are trying to solve for. And also we have discussed about the electronic components required for this project and also a high level architecture to automate a water pump at my home. So in this particular video, we're gonna look into the software side of things. As I said in earlier video, we're gonna use a home automation firmware called ESPHome. So this firmware is installed into a microcontroller ESP01S at both the water tank side as well as a motor switching side. So this is how ESPHome works. There would be a central server with ESPHome installed in it, and that acts as a hub. And there would be multiple IoT devices with ESP firmware. So all of these devices will be connected to this central server within the same network. There can be multiple use cases. Let's say the central server will be used to push updates to these devices. Maybe you want to change the functionality of a particular device. So you can push that update into the device using this central server. Okay, and also there can be a use case where the devices will send data to the central server and central server will take the decisions looking into the data. Okay, let's look into our own use case. Okay, so our use case is there would be a particular IoT device at the water tank side and there will be a another device at a motor switch side. Okay, so basically these two devices will communicate with one another to turn on and turn off the motor depends on the water level. Okay, so this is our use case. So in this case, we don't require a central server, right? Mostly we don't require central server because we are not storing anything or we are not taking some external decisions. Depends on the water tank level and all. But to initially to set up these devices and program these devices, ESP Home architecture is built in a such a way that you need a central server. So the central server is nothing fancy. It can be a laptop where you can install ESP Home server instance into it, or you can use a Docker. There are multiple ways of setting up this central server. I will link the a simple Pythonic way of doing it, or else I prefer to use Docker. So I will also link installing ESP Home in a Docker. So anyway, it's fine. Once you have the central server, we can program our devices both at water tank side as well as motor side. And also in future, let's say we want to change some code in either of the devices. We just turn this central server on. Both the devices will be shown in the central server, and you can start changing their configuration in the central server. Okay, so central server is only comes into picture when you're trying to update the configuration in any of the IoT devices, and also in the initial place where you are trying to set up everything. Okay, let's talk about the central server in my case. So I have a TrueNAS server at my home, which is always running. It's basically serves media content within the home network. If anyone interested like how to build a TrueNAS server within budget, you can look into the playlist, which is also available in the channel, and I also link in the icon. Coming to this video, I can set up the central server in this TrueNAS instance, which is already running at my home continuously. So for the people who has a TrueNAS instance running at their home, so there is this app called ESPHome, which you can directly install into your TrueNAS server. So I already installed this app, so which is already running here. If you see the ESPHome instance is running, and I can just open the web GUI here. So let me open. Yeah, so this is my ESPHome, which is running in my TrueNAS instance. There is no need to set up TrueNAS for this. I already having a TrueNAS server running, so it's a add-on or bonus for me to make a easy setup of ESPHome. But you can set it up using either Docker or either Python or whatever you prefer. We have discussed about this ESP01 programmer in the previous video. I have discussed in detail about the 3D printing files to enclose this programmer. Okay, so then I have ESP01S microcontroller with me. So in order to install ESPHome firmware into this microcontroller, if you observe, there is no USB-C or USB-B for this particular microcontroller. You only have header pins. So basically, you insert this particular ESP01S microcontroller into this programmer. Okay, so now you insert this particular programmer into the laptop and install the ESP Home firmware into it. There are two missions in our case. One is TrueNAS server, which is running the ESP Home central server in it. And the second is the laptop, Windows laptop, which you're seeing right now on the screen. So this laptop is accessing the ESP Home central server. So if you see the IP address 168.02, this is the TrueNAS server, which is running my ESP Home. You need to plug this particular programmer into the Windows laptop in my case, which is accessing the central server. So when you're trying to plug this particular programmer, you need to click this push button and insert it. If you don't press this push button, you don't bring the ESP01S microcontroller into programmer mode. So press, keep your finger on top of it and then insert. Let me do that. Okay, so now I have inserted the ESP01 in the laptop. If you are programming any microcontroller first time using the mission, whenever you insert the programmer, it might not detect it right away. I'm highly suggesting like whoever following this, just go ahead and program the microcontroller using Arduino. So in our case, our microcontroller is ESP01S, and there is bunch of tutorials in the internet. You can write a small LED blink logic and program your ESP01S using Arduino. So in this way, you can make sure the drivers for the programmer is installed in your machine. So once you can able to program the controller using Arduino, then you are all set to go. I will also link tutorial how to program ESP01S using Arduino in Windows machine. If you are in Mac or Linux, I don't think you will face a driver issue. So USB drivers are pre-installed in Mac and Linux. Mostly, if you are in Windows, you might face this issue. Once you are successfully able to program the ESP01 using Arduino, then you can directly open the ESP Home dashboard. So click on New Device and press Continue. And you need to give the name for your device. So the ESP01, which I'm trying to program first, will sit at a motor switch side. So I'm calling it as a tank motor controller. Okay. Basically, this will create a YAML in the backend. So that YAML contains all the configuration information. So it also contains the Wi-Fi password and then the SSID. So you need to give both of them. Okay. Click on Next. Basically, ESP01S will contain 8266 as a core chip. So we're gonna select ESP8266 here. No need to copy this encryption key, it will present in YAML. So click on install now. You can see multiple options here. So the most used one is wirelessly. So wirelessly is used to push any OT updates to the device. First time you cannot use wirelessly. You need to use other options. For the next updates and all, you can use wirelessly and plug into this computer. This will work, but you need a HTTPS connection to the server, which generally don't have. So we can ignore this option, plug into this computer and plug into the computer that is running ESP Home device builder. So this is the my NAS server. So you can directly plug the device into my NAS server. That is fine. But anyway, the server is far away. I don't want to go with this route too. I want to go with the manual, just the manual download. So mostly try to use wirelessly or manual download for the first time. For the next time, you can always prefer wirelessly. So click on manual download. So this will start compiling the firmware, which will take some time. After waiting for some time, you can see the compilation is success. You can see some green info message successfully compiled the program. So then you can click on download. This will download the .bin file. So this bin file you need to burn into ESP ESP01S controller. So let's download it. So I'm clicking on keep. My bin file is downloaded. Then you need to head to your website, ESPHome.io. This website is sort of online firmware burner. Whenever you open this website, you will find the connect button. So click on connect. If you see here, my device is connected to this machine. So I can select the serial COM5. So now click on install and then choose file and select the bin file, open. So now click on install. So this will connect to the board and it will erase the existing firmware and starting installing the new firmware into the ESP01S controller. After a while, you will see this configuration installed message. Okay, so now my ESP01S is connected to the same laptop. So I need to remove that. Let me remove that. Okay. So now my ESP01 I have disconnected and also it's showing device disconnected. Now you can insert this device into the same laptop. No need to click the boot button. The device no need to be in programming mode, but you need to power the device. I can power this using the same laptop, but I am using an external power bank. So it's more convenient for me to show you the activity on the device. So I'm using this power bank. You can use the same laptop. So I have turned on the device using the external power bank and I didn't press the boot button. Now I am going back to the ESPHome dashboard. So my device is turned on, but I can still see that device is offline. So this is one issue with the ESPHome dashboard. So what this will do is this will search my entire network for the device because the device already contains the firmware with a Wi-Fi password and SSID. It should ideally connected to the network. So this ESPHome dashboard will search my entire network for the device, but it is saying offline. So this is the problem with the search implementation. They're using some MDNS or something, which is not enabled in a lot of routers as well as not supported. For this, there is a solution. So that solution is we need to search by IP. We need to tell that this particular motor controller, my device IP is this. You will find the device always with this IP. But the problem is like for any of the devices or any device in your home, when it is connected to router, it will take some random IP address. To avoid that, we need to make static IP address to this particular device. Okay, so let's go to the router. I will show you how to assign the static IP address. This will change from router to router. Okay, so now I am looking into all the connected active clients in my router. So if you see here, all of these are active clients in my router. So I have assigned the device tank motor relay. You can find the same device with the same name. Okay, so currently got assigned 0.10. Remember this IP address. And now I don't know where the settings in your particular router, but you need to find it for your router. But for me in advanced, if I go to network and there is a DHCP server, under this, I can reserve the IP addresses for a particular MAC address. So whenever this MAC address is connected to the router, always assign 0.10. Okay, so this is how you need to assign a static IP address in your router. Once you have assigned static IP address to the device, come back to ESP dashboard and click on edit. So in the edit, you have a section called Wi-Fi. So in the Wi-Fi section, you need to assign the static address IP address to use address. So our static IP address is 1.190.10. So this is the static IP address we assign to this device. So we need to assign this address to key called use address. So basically, this will make the ESP dashboard to search for this device using this use address instead of searching whole network. Okay, let's click on save. Okay, now it is saved. Close it. Then you can click on install now. Okay, now you can select wirelessly because like now you have given the proper static IP address. The device is already in the network. You can select the wirelessly option. This would take a while. Once the new configuration is uploaded, you will get OTA successful and upload successful log. So stopping this doesn't stop the device, it just stop the log window. So let's stop this and now refresh this page. Once you refresh the page, we can see that device is online. So let's say if you still don't see the online message, once you refresh the page, just reboot your device, like remove it from the power source and again connect it. Should ideally come to the online state. Okay, so that's it for this video. Basically, in this video, we have seen how to burn the ESPHome firmware into the device. So in the next video, we will see how to control the device using ESPHome or using another same ESP device. So that's it for this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you didn't subscribe that.